Hey family, it's Tasha from MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. I've been gone myself for a little bit, for a week. Had family in town, and now we're about to get right back into it. So today I was thinking about, first of all, I was just kind of trying to get back in the groove of things, right? Family has just left, trying to think about, okay, what do I need to go out and get? What kind of shopping? What kind of holes do I have now? All of those good things. My family's actually pretty sick right now. And so trying to get them on the mend felt good because, we had all the things we need to kind of make somebody feel better when they're not feeling very well. But for me, it was like, okay, I got to get back into things. It's been a very long time since I've been stockpiling and doing different things. And I wanted to share with you guys the things that I think about when I think about my stockpile, when I think about my true things that I bulk. Now, this list has kind of changed because once upon a time, I just stockpiled, right? I just got things, got food, stockpiled it, preserved it in a way that would make it last for as long as possible. And I would just go. But now that we're on this preservative, journey, trying to cut things out, we're cutting whole foods, complete food things out. Things that I would have bought before, I just don't buy anymore. Maybe I should do a video on that. Let me know if you want a video on that, on foods that I've actually just stopped stockpiling as somebody who prepares and is a prepper. But these are things that are true items that have never gone away. So let's just, without further ado, let's jump into it. These are items that I keep in bulk all the time, okay? Constantly thinking about these items. First thing is, and these are no order, rice. Rice is a big one because anytime I'm out at, especially at any kind of bulk place, we're buying rice. We buy rice on a regular basis. Pretty much we're buying rice either every payday or every other payday, buying a bag of rice, preserving it, putting it away, and keeping it for a rainy day. Obviously, we eat rice a lot in our household already anyway, and so rice isn't a normal heavy rotation in our family, right? In our meals, we eat a lot of rice dishes, and so it's not like I'm just stockpiling, and we're not eating it. We're definitely eating it. We definitely love rice. I can make rice 1,000 different ways, and we always joke that there's only a couple things we need in life. Like, okay, what is a food that if we had to eat it every day, we wouldn't be upset about? And rice is one of those foods. Whole cultures survive off of rice, you guys, and so do not sleep on it. That's something we buy in bulk, big bags, 50-pound bags, sometimes smaller bags, right? 20-pound or 25, but we are constantly buying rice and we're constantly eating rice. Next thing I have is coffee. Obviously, cheers, we are coffee drinkers. A lot of our family members are coffee drinkers. People that are planning to come to this house and be part of our community are coffee drinkers. It is, caffeine, I know, is not the greatest thing on earth to consume, but it's needed. It's needed for patrols. It's needed to stay awake, to be ready for stuff, and it was my little battle buddy, if you will, in the field when things were going down. I always had the coffee to help me stay awake and stay alert, okay? And so, not to mention delicious, feels good, nice thing to have in the morning, right? So coffee. Next thing I have is sugar. So sugar is so important because you use it in so many things. I mean, I use it in so many, jams and jellies and so many preserving type dishes. I mean, you obviously need it for sweetening. Could be coffee, could be a sweet, cookies, whatever. But you've got to have sugar. It's a very serious sweetener, and it will last forever. It's tried and true. It's a must have. Okay, if anything, a lot of these are must haves. Like, I have to have these things that are on this item, on this list, and that's why I buy them in bulk. So buying sugar in bulk. Next one is flour. Buying flour in bulk. It's a no-brainer. Can you buy wheat berries? Can you buy grain? Can you buy stuff and have a mill grain and mill that yourself? Absolutely. Buy that stuff in bulk, and I know that a lot of you guys do that, and that is what you stockpile, because flour itself does not last forever and can go bad. Depending on how you keep it, it will eventually go bad. But when you're getting the actual raw form, that can last for a very long time, a very, very long time. And so a lot of people stockpile that. I stockpile other options for flour, right? To be able to make my own flour and cornmeal. But I am a fan of stockpiling flour as well. Flour, you go through, if you are a person who uses flour, you go through flour a lot. If you make bread, you go through flour a lot. I mean, it goes very, very quick if you are a bread maker. Not to mention anything else that you're making that takes flour, tortillas, whatever, biscuits, it doesn't matter. But flour is a huge staple. And if you talk about staples that I bulk, that I buy in bulk, that I want in bulk, that I want to make sure that I'm stockpiling, flour is one of them. Next thing I have is seasonings. Now, people might be like, well, why would you waste that being on your list? Seasonings, you know, you've talked about seasonings not being that important before, and I have. And I still stand by that. I don't think you need 13 seasonings to make a dish. I just don't. Can you make a dish with 13 seasonings and it tastes delicious? Obviously, yes. That's what chefs are for. It's amazing. It tastes delicious, but it's not necessary, okay? There's one on the list. Salt is a no-brainer. It's a bartering item. It's a flavoring item. It lasts forever. Salt. Can't stress it enough. Your body needs it. And so salt obviously is on the top of my list for any kind of seasonings. And I'm not a fan, but I am a fan of certain things. Have to have curry in my family. We eat a lot. I cook a lot with curry. We have to have ginger. We have to have turmeric. Mostly because, yes, are those nice for cooking? Yes, but medicinal purposes for both of those are amazing. All right, those root vegetables, I have to have those in my bulk items in my pantry, and I have to have them in bulk. I want them in the future. I want to make sure that I have the opportunity and the ways to grow my own turmeric, to grow my own ginger, but I want them dried. I want them, you know, in a seasoned form, right? Grinded down. I want that, okay? So good for teas, for cooking, for health. It is an absolute must to have in bulk. I have to have that, okay? And so I always have a lot of that, because I think it's just super important. And of course, things like garlic salt, onion salt, and those things are very, very easy to make yourself. This is not even stuff that you have to necessarily buy and stockpile from the store. But if I am buying seasonings in bulk, these are the ones I'm buying. I'm buying garlic salt, I'm buying onion powder, I'm buying turmeric, I'm buying ginger, I'm buying salt, right? Those are and curry. Now, curry has turmeric and other seasonings in it, and curry is not salty. It doesn't have salt. It's the actual flavoring season. But it just brings to life rice dishes, dishes, meat dishes, so much stuff that curry is just super, super delicious. And of course, it has some medicinal properties in it with the seasonings that they use to make it. So super important to me. Not important to have all the seasonings in the world, but those are my ones that I bulk. I buy them in bulk and make sure I have them in bulk. I stockpile them, and those are the ones I want in the future. If stuff goes left and you're like, well, what are the ones you have to have? Those are the ones. Next thing I have is liquor. So obviously we drink liquor, so we keep liquor. I use liquor heavily in tinctures, right? So medicinal purposes. I keep liquor for my medical room, right? So, you know, liquor, huge bartering item, right? Will be a huge bartering item. But I just think that liquor definitely plays a place. Even if you are not somebody who consumes it, it has so many purposes to it that can be used that I think it's important to keep it, right? Especially if you're into wanting to get into holistic stuff, wanting to stockpile your medical supplies. That stuff is important. Liquor is important, okay? And at that point, it's really vodka, that will work for both of those situations, but you know, whatever. So liquor. One thing I have on here is vinegar. Now, a lot of people like vinegar, and again, if you are a person who doesn't preserve food, you might not understand why vinegar is such an important thing to stockpile, and to stockpile it in bulk, and to always have it in a bulk fashion and have a lot of it. If you preserve, then you understand, right? We use this in the canning processes for ferment, you know, all types of different preservation processes utilize vinegar. Not to mention its capabilities of cleaning properties. It just has 1,001 uses. I probably could do a whole video just on the uses of vinegar. But vinegar is amazing. I just use some vinegar right now to put in with a load of sheets, right? So, you know, I'm a huge fan of vinegar, okay? And so I keep it in bulk. It's super important. I want to have in the future. Again, people are like, you can make your own, right? We'll get to that point, but I'm a huge fan of it and I keep it in bulk. That's one of those things that I don't want to be caught without. I don't let my stores, my vinegar stores, get super, super low. I keep it on rotation, and I don't keep it, try to not let it get super, super low, because it's so helpful in so many ways around our household, okay? Next thing I have is eggs. Now, again, you might be like, what? Hey, well, it's a protein, obviously, but we joke all the time, hey, if we had rice and eggs and you had to eat that every day, would you get bored? And I wouldn't, right? We love eggs. I like to stockpile eggs in all types of ways, and I like to buy it in bulk. I like to buy number 10 cans in eggs. Different eggs, scrambled eggs, whole eggs. I like to water glass our eggs now that we have chickens. People freeze eggs. I have some eggs that are frozen. Not my favorite way to keep them, but I do have some eggs in my freezer. And of course, freeze dried eggs and drying them yourself, and just all the different ways that you can keep eggs. I'm a fan of. A huge, huge, huge thing for us for eggs. Later when we move, we'll have other animals. We plan to have other animals that will lay different eggs, right? Big fan, want ducks really, really bad. Duck eggs are really big. And of course, we'll have more chickens and maybe some other stuff that we'll incorporate into the fold that have eggs. Eggs are super important. Again, huge bartering, huge protein, very little effort. I mean, just a very, very good. Plus animals that are very, to me, in my opinion, easy to get on a self-sufficiency circle, meaning things go left, you can't get food anymore. How do you continue to feed those animals? And to me, chickens are one of those animals that's very easy to get on a self-sufficient type cycle, to where you can continue that cycle, continue to make chicks, continue to have eggs, all of that, even when things go left. The biggest thing with that would be just protection and keeping them safe, and ensuring nobody steals them from you and takes them from you. That would be the biggest issue that you'd have to worry about. But eggs. Next thing I have, I can't even read my writing. Oh, potatoes. Huge potato family. Meat potatoes, the whole saying, that's definitely my family. But potatoes, I keep in bulk, and I keep them in bulk 1,000 different ways. Big bags, 20-pound bags, 25-pound bags, 50-pound bags. You can get potato flakes, potato diced, potato sliced, potato shredded. We have pressure canned potatoes. We have potatoes that I've canned, French fries, regular potatoes, potatoes in stews and meats, right? Stews and soups, right? We love a fried potato here. We love mashed potatoes here. So potatoes are good. We grow potatoes here. Super important to continue to grow. I cannot wait to, my biggest thing with potatoes is increasing the amount that you're producing every year, that you're growing every year. Potatoes, right? And so that's kind of my plan with potatoes, is every year you increase that, you increase it. Potatoes are super, super easy. They're not hard to grow. They're not hard to plant. They're not hard to harvest. And I'm just a huge, huge fan of stockpiling potatoes, not to mention my family eats a lot of them. So potatoes are important, okay? For me, for bulking, for a bulk item and something that I keep in bulk. Next thing I have is my flavorings. I said this is my flavorings because there's certain things that I keep in my pantry, that I keep stockpiled, and I buy in bulk, and I make sure that I keep heavily stockpiled for its flavoring agents. So one of those things is soy sauce. So you have soy sauce, you have Worcestershire sauce, teriyaki sauce. Again, some of this stuff you can make homemade. I'm just now getting into making condiments, making the must-have condiments that my family will need. And of course, that was part of just the preservative type journey, right? Getting stuff that doesn't have all the extra stuff in it, making condiments that don't have the extra stuff in it, making condiments that don't have the level of sodium and salt that is in some of these other products, the fructose syrup. And so you don't necessarily have to buy this in bulk, like actually at the store. You can make this and keep it in bulk, right? make it shelf stable, and then make sure that you have it in bulk. So there's certain things that I keep in bulk in my house all the time because my family members eat it all the time. And so I'm working on condiments and stuff, but this on my list is more my flavorings. The next one is kind of in this next one is my last one, and that's honey. And to me, that usually is in my flavoring. Like when I think of honey, I'm thinking flavoring. I'm thinking that's why I'm bulking or why I'm keeping it. I love having honey. I love having a ton of it, a lot of it. You know, it's sugar properties. It's an emergency sugar. It's good for teas. It's good for medicinal purposes. You know, it's good for salves. It's good for 1,001 things. It will last forever, okay, if it's not compromised. And I absolutely love having honey in our pantry, okay? To me, it is a must-have staple, and it's a must-have that I keep in bulk. And so anytime I can get it, and again, honey is super expensive, right? To just even buy it, when you talk about buying stuff in bulk, is hard, okay? But if you're going to these bulk stores, look for this, look for those sales, look for getting quality stuff. Go to your local vendors for honey, okay? And a lot of times it might be more, a little bit more, but sometimes it might not, and it's going to be high quality honey, okay? And it's not going to have other stuff in it, and honey will last forever. And to me, that's a flavoring. So when I'm thinking about my flavorings and different things like that, honey is usually part of that. I said I was done, but I do have one more here, and that's your fats. Stockpiling fats. You know, I preserve a lot of fats like butter, ghee, bacon. The way I do my bacon, it's more like bacon pieces, but the fat that I get out of that jar is amazing, and so that's amazing to me. We've fallen back on so many oils. You know, we don't do seed oils anymore. We're basically down to avocado oil and some olive oils, and even I had a picture I shared with my patrons that olive oils, you know, are not always olive oils. A lot of these big companies have other stuff in their oils, and so my olive oil list is very, very small, and it's hard to find the oils that are still okay. So, but that's what we're down to, and we're just shifting to having other stuff as a fat for cooking, like butter or the ghee or tallow, you know, or lard, like whatever other bacon fat, the fat from meat, you know, that you've reduced down, but other ways of stockpiling fat. And so fat in bulk is important for the future when you can't get, you know, an agent like that, or like us, you're trying to cut back from the preservative filled other stuff or the other oils that stay in your body for decades, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited about some of the content that I have ready for you guys to share with you. So I hope that you're looking forward to that. I'm glad you're back. I hope you're ready to jump back into it. For my Patreons, we're about to jump into it for real starting tomorrow. I'll be back on schedule over at Patreon. If you haven't joined us over there and you want a way to support me monetarily, that is the way to do it, to head over to Patreon and join up over there. So outside of that, I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. I did. I feel great. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next video. Take care. Bye.